and welcome back to the CottageCutz YouTube channel. This is Marla with Mad About Cards and Crafts. I'm so glad you've joined me today. We are going to do a review of the old-fashioned Christmas ornaments that were part of the new CottageCutz Christmas release. I'm going to lay these dies out for you and we're going to talk about each one. I thought that having a little bit of perspective on size would be beneficial as you're doing your Christmas shopping. These ornaments are retro, they're super cute. I just think that ornaments are always such a lovely addition to Christmas cards, and I am going to just share the basics about these with you, and then we'll build a few cards together. So this first one is called Old Fashioned Ornament 1. It is a larger ornament. It is, as you can see, round in shape. There is the full-size ornament, and then you build each of the pieces upon each other to get the beautiful design that you find on the front of the package. So this is going to be one of the larger ornaments. The next one is actually the smallest. This one is called Old Fashioned Ornament 2, and it has the teardrop ornaments from the 50s, which are some of my absolute favorites. These ones are a little bit smaller and thinner. I am going to show you. I have built all of them off camera so that you can get a good look at them, and we're going to place them on an A2 size card. There are several different configurations for these dies. In fact, some of the pieces can be mixed and matched. So I'm going to show you a few different examples as I built them. This one is called Old Fashioned Ornament 1. It is, I believe, that and Old Fashioned Ornament 3 are the largest of the ornaments. This one has the word joy on the front of it. And then we have Christmas Ornament, which is going to be, I guess I would say, a fatter teardrop. This one is really pretty. It has that beautiful bow. That bow can be used on any of the ornaments that I'm sharing with you today. It's on the larger size, much larger than the Old Fashioned Ornament 2. And then we have these beautiful bells. Again, you have multiple configurations. There is the solid piece that is a part of that, and then the stripes. You have snowflakes and then holly leaves. So those holly leaves can go on any of the ornaments. The snowflake can go on some of the larger ornaments. Let's take a look at the ones that I built. So here's a look at the bells. You'll notice that I have an A2 size card for perspective, and we're going to lay them out. So there's one bell on a card, there's the second. You'll notice that I used the holly leaves, and then I also used two of the snowflakes. I offset them to add even more color to that center. I'm going to move these over to the side, and we're going to move on to our next ornament, which is going to be the Christmas ornament. This one, again, is the fatter of the teardrops. I did the blue foil. You can see that beautiful bow that I have at the top that is in this die. There are several different ways to configure this. I'm going to show you three. That third one, I took one of the pieces from the bell, I believe it was, either the bell or the joy ornament, that little strip of cardstock right there, and I added it to the center. So again, as I was saying, these pieces can easily be mixed and matched if you choose to do the I Want It All, which is a big release, but if you did choose the I Want It All, then you can mix and match these pieces. So there's a look at how those would fit on an A2 size card. We're going to move on to our next ornament, which is going to be Old Fashioned Ornament 1. As I mentioned, this is one of the bigger ornaments. You can see that it has a wider base to it, and then it kind of thins out at the top and the bottom. I cut it out 3 times, and then I just mixed and matched the colors so that I got 3 different color combinations. Even though they're the same colors, they look completely different, but that was an easy way for me to get 3 ornaments, is just cut it 3 separate times and then mix them up. All right, we're going to move on to, I believe it's going to be Old Fashioned Ornament 2. Yes. Now these are the smallest, as I mentioned, so you can see to the left we have the wider ones, and then you can see how much smaller these are. These ones have several different ways to configure them as well. You have a circle that you can cut out and put one of the elements in the center. You can use the star, and then it cuts out the center, and you'll have a backing. There's like an oval backing to it, so that blue one is that way. And then you also have the one that has just the large star. I chose to add the oval to the back of that to change the configuration up just a little bit. And finally, this is the Old Fashioned Ornament 3. This is the rounder one. I did the same thing as I did with the Old Fashioned Ornament 1. I went and cut it from the same color cardstock. 3 pieces of cardstock and created 3 different ornaments, mixing and matching the colors. So it's gold, yellow, and then we have that beautiful teal. I'm going to move some of this out of the way, and I did want to give you a look at all of them put together. There's a look at the entire ornament collection that's available in the store. I hope that this is helpful to you. I thought it would be, so that it would help with when you're designing. I cut all of mine out from this Tim Holtz craft foiled cardstock. I got this at Joann's. I thought because they were old-fashioned retro ornaments that trying to recreate that Mercury look would really be pretty on these particular dies. So let's build some very simple cards. I have an A2 card base. I have cut out a frame, and then I cut out this piece of cardstock that I stenciled with a doily stencil. So I used something borrowed, I believe is the color that I used from Catherine Pooler. I just added that soft stenciling in the background, and then I will add that foiled frame around the outside edge. The Merry Christmas comes from the Merry Christmas with Shadow. It's an older sentiment set that was in the Scrap and Cottage. It's no longer available, but any sentiment would work for this. I just tried to keep things pretty basic. I added some foam tape to the back of my ornaments, and I am going to add my Merry Christmas to my background. I just need to make sure that I have enough room for my sentiment before I place my ornaments. I chose to go with 2 ornaments. There's some overlapping that can be done if you wanted to create with 3 and maybe not even put a sentiment on the front of this. There's so many different ideas. I just wanted to put some simple cards together just to show you the perspective of the pieces and to also give you some quick ideas for some cards. I'll remove the tape from the back of each of the ornaments. I'm just trying to figure out which way I want them to go. I thought maybe I could put them side by side and just kind of tilt them, but I actually liked them better where one was taller than the other. So I'll just remove the foam tape, and I'm going to reposition this one again because I want to make sure that I have the same distance between the left and the right side of my card panels, trying to make sure that I get everything centered and lined up so that it looks balanced. So I'll put this piece down, and here's where I'm going to carefully lift this one up, and that will complete card number 1, quick and easy. All right, card number 2, again an A2 card base. This time I have used a marquee stencil for my background, and I'm going to add this to my card panel. You certainly could have done the stenciling directly onto the card base, but you know, I wasn't quite sure what direction I was going in when I started this card, so I just started out with a card panel. I used, I believe it is maybe seafoam or something like that is the color that I used to do the stenciling. And then this is a frame from my stash, so this is going to be a pretty similar layout. I used some glitter cardstock. I thought the glitter cardstock would complement the foiled cardstock. And again, I have the Merry Christmas with shadow. This time I've added the shadow to the Merry Christmas, and I'm centering it to the top of my card panel. Once I get this centered, I am going to arrange my ornaments. I chose to use all three of them. As I mentioned previously, I did cut them out of gold, blue, and red cardstock, and so I just mixed and matched all of the pieces. Once I get this built, I am going to bring in, I believe it's called Winter Branch, which is part of the new release. I'm going to show the branch in another card more extensively. So for this one, I'm just using the pine needles, and then I'm going to use the pine cone. I want that one to be behind the one on the right. The one on the right, I didn't tap off my foiled paper, and I got some glue on it, so it kind of has a funky bit to it, and I want to make sure that I get that covered with the ornament to the left. So I'm just going to fiddle with this for just a few moments. Again, a very simple composition. We have the stenciled background, we have the frame and the Merry Christmas. This time we have our ornaments bunched in the bottom right hand side and the sentiment up at the top. I have these pine needles that I talked about, and I'm just going to tuck them in. And after I get them tucked in, I am going to bring in one of the pine cones. Again, this is from the same branch, and I thought that it accented my ornaments nicely. We'll tuck that little pine cone in. There's a look at the die. It's a really large die, and I am going to show you why it was built as such a large die. It's such a versatile piece. So here is another release. This is called Holly Frame, and I cut it out of pink glitter cardstock. So you can see it has the holly branches. It also has, which is a little harder to see, but there are some berries that are on there. I'm going to glue this to, again, an A2 top folding card panel. I used the same Merry Christmas with shadow die. This time I inked it with Catherine Pooler's Champagne ink. So it's a nice soft pink. That can go either landscape or portrait. I'm using it portrait for my card. This time I'm going to add the Merry Christmas to the bottom of my card. So I'm just trying to figure out how I get that centered. I've added some twine to my ornaments, and you certainly can do that with each of the ornaments. I thought it would be cute to have them hanging down from the top of the card. So as I place them down, once I get everything placed down, I will right there add a little bit of glue. It doesn't want to stick at first because I do have that glitter cardstock, so I am going to use my reverse tweezers to help me out. I pull them off before it's quite it's finished drying, so I am off camera going to put those tweezers back on some of those spots. So here we go. I'm going to place my center one. I didn't want it over the pink holly leaves. I thought that having that pink ornament would get a little bit lost, so I made sure to place it in the center. That would give it a little bit more attention on the card. And I think these colors are really pretty. I like this color combination. Very soft. After looking at it, I felt like I could add even more, so I am going to bring in some iridescent drops from Trinity stamps. If I can find them, I will I will leave a note on what these are in the description box below, and then you can find them on the Trinity website. I just thought that they really complemented the foiling and the sparkle that's in the holly frame. So I'm adding some glue, I'm adhering those little sparkle pieces, and then I'm going to trim off the tops of each of these. And I think, you know what, it needs even more sparkle. I mean, can you ever have too much sparkle on your card? So I am going to add all of the pieces to this background in the spots where the holly berries would be once I get this trimmed down, and I will come back and you'll see how it finishes out. And here's a look at the finished card. Look at all that sparkle and shine. I love that color combination. We're going to move on to our final card, which is a 5x7, and I'm going to talk about the winter branch. So there's a look at the die up top. This is a larger branch, and you might be wondering why we made such a large branch. Well, this is a 5x7 card. As you can see, it works vertically. It also works well horizontally. I'm going to show you an A2 panel. This can be cut down, and that's why we built it so big, to make it so versatile. So you can cut the tip off right there, and you still have a beautiful branch either vertically or horizontally. So this is going to work for slimline cards, 5x7 cards, A2 size cards, super versatile. Sometimes branches are super small, and by building a larger one and giving you the option to cut it down, it just adds more use to the product. So I have a 5x7 card base. I have done a little bit of inking on this card panel. I tried 2 different colors. I liked the blue better than the blue-green, so I just did a little bit of masking. It's not perfect masking, but enough masking that I'm able to get the background that I'm looking for. And I'm going to glue this panel, which has been cut down to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 inches. And of course I did use that gold cardstock to add a layering base to the background. I have cut the branch out of some copper foil cardstock, and we are going to build our bells using this winter branch. I did want to mention, if you've stuck with me this long, that we are doing a giveaway in this video, and this is a special giveaway. At least I think so. So I have shared with you 5 different ornaments, and I usually will choose one of the ornaments to give away in my video. If you've stuck with me this far, then I am going to give you the option of choosing which ornament you would like to receive should you be chosen as the winner. There's only going to be one ornament that's given away. It's going to be the ornament that you choose out of all of these 5. So in the comment section, I would love for you to let me know what your favorite ornament was from this release. And if you are chosen, you will be the lucky winner. If you're the lucky winner in my next video, you will be the lucky winner of the ornament of your choosing. So make sure that you are a subscriber, that you leave a comment, and that you like the video, and hopefully you'll get to win the ornament of your choice. So I wanted to use that larger branch because I wanted both of the bells on my card, and I wanted them to be kind of a good distance apart. They certainly would have worked on an A2 size card, but I wanted to show the versatility of the winter branch. Again, I did use the Merry Christmas with shadow. This time I did not use the shadow, and I cut it out of the red foil cardstock. Once I get all of my pieces glued down, I am going to show you all of the cards that I created. Now, because I didn't create with the old-fashioned ornament one, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be using it. I thought that what I would do is cut another ornament, the solid piece, out of white cardstock and score it at the very top where the ornament base is, and I'm going to use those 3 for tags. So those will be tags for my Christmas presents this year that is another way that you can use these beautiful ornaments. I did not like the way that that pine cone looks on, that's straight up and down. I just thought, it just doesn't look right. So I am going to lift this branch off really quickly, and I'm going to place the pine cone and the pine branch over the top of the bell. I'll add that third branch to the center, and I like that balance much better. It just looked much better with the pine cones going down. Once I finish, I'm going to show you all of the cards as I mentioned, so give me just a moment. I'm going to place it at the bottom. For some reason, I thought I placed it up at the top. All right, let's start pulling in some of those other cards. So there's our 5x7. There are the ornament 1 that are going to be my tags. We have the beautiful old-fashioned ornament 2. We have the old-fashioned ornament 3, and I'm going to squeeze in here the Christmas ornament, and there's a look at all of our projects. So again, I hope this was helpful to you. Here's a look at the final cards one last time. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.